Welcome back to another episode of the Why Music Podcast. I'm Pascal. I am your host, and I know it's been a while since we've had a show, right? And I know you guys been waiting, asking, when are you guys coming back? Well, I'm back. I'm back, and I know there's a few heads missing, but don't worry, they're coming, right? The guys were just not available today, and I really just got up and decided I'm going to do something today. I'm going to do something today. And so here I am, right? Okay? But anyway, the guys will be back, all right? We haven't broken up. There's nothing going on except people are busy and they got families and lives. So, yeah. Okay? Anyway, today we're talking about practicing, right? Developing a practice regimen. I'd like to say it more like practice discipline, right? A discipline for practicing, right? Because no matter how nice you sound, you need to practice. Why do you need to practice? Because anybody who's ever learned any subject knows that the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. And the only way you're going to get to the stuff you don't know is by, you got it, practicing, right? You got to practice. You got to practice. And so for me, I'm going to keep this one short. For me, I think the best way I learned to practice was, first I picked a time. Pick a time that is optimal for you, a time when your mind is not bogged down with work or family issues or responsibilities or things you have to do. You're free, and most of the time that's in the morning. Most of the time, for most people, it's the early morning hours. And if you don't like waking up early in the morning, then do it at night, right? You just have to make sure it's a time when you're not drained. It's got to be a time when you're not drained, because you're trying to be creative. You're developing a skill, and so if you're learning, the mind, the body has a way it affects the psyche, right? If the body is tired, then nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. So pick a time that best works for you, that your mind is alert, ready to take in information, ready to be creative, no distractions, and you're good to go. You block out a certain time during the day, every day, compound interest, like they say in finance. If you do it every day, you'll start getting so good in so little time that you'll surprise yourself how good you are. Even when you think you sound bad, you end up in a situation where you play and you're like, oh my God, when did I learn this? I don't know. My hands are doing things that my mind hasn't thought of. That's how you get there. Practice regularly, right? Here's another key thing. I know I'm kind of moving fast, but here's another key thing. Don't try to learn too many different sets of skills at the same time, simultaneously. Don't try to do 100 different types of arpeggios, learn a bunch of different chord changes, learn a bunch of different types of techniques all at the same time, thinking, the thinking is this: you feel as if you have a lot to learn, but you don't have enough time to learn it. You know that feeling. I have so much to learn. I'm watching Corey Henry. I'm watching Justin Lee Schultz. I'm listening to Oscar Peterson. I'm listening to Miles Davis. I'm listening to Chick Corea. You name it. Or whoever, Mano Leon, whatever, whoever's your man. Jesus Molina, whoever it is, you're listening to these people in your head, you're thinking, how am I ever going to get there? Not realizing that before these people got there, they spent hours practicing. There is no such thing as I just woke up and I knew how to play. What you're seeing them do is something they took years and hours of practice to get in front of you. They did that behind the scenes so that when they get in front of you, it becomes easy. It looks easy, but it's not. It took a lot of practice. It took a lot of work. So don't put yourself in a position, don't stagnate your growth by trying to rush to the end. That's the best way I know to put it. Don't stagnate your growth by trying to rush to the end, by getting hyped up by what you see people do on social media, that you don't see the behind the scenes of the frustration and the work and the tears and the years that they had to put in to get to what you're seeing. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So gear up and psych yourself and say, hey, I got all this work to do. All of this stuff that they're doing is not magically coming to them from the atmosphere or from some muse or whatever it is. They practice, they put in the time. The best way I can put it is there was a interview with Richard Smallwood. My favorite musician of all time, I don't care what you say, is Bach, Richard Smallwood, Oscar Peterson, Fred Hammond, Earth, Wind and Fire, Stevie Wonder. But Richard's my number one, and musical genius, absolutely. And he said that the way he was able to write a lot of his songs was, aside from having learned classical and gospel and practice for, and being a prodigy, he just made himself available. But to make yourself available, this is me talking, in order to make yourself available, you got to do the work. You got to do the work that enables you to play those things that you hear in your head. Like, I've heard things in my head for years that my fingers could not do. And I kept forcing my hand to do things that my head was putting out, and it was frustrating because even if I was playing the notes, I knew the technique and the way it was coming out was not what I wanted to hear. And the problem I was having is I did not take time to practice proper technique. I was not taking lessons at the time. I was not putting in the work. I was not practicing regularly. I was just hearing people, and I'm just sitting there trying to figure out what they're doing. When I started taking lessons, learned to read music, went into jazz first, and I've always wanted to be classically trained, so then I started taking classical lessons. And after keyboard's right in front of me. Sorry. After I learned how music worked, a lot of the things I was hearing people do on records, I started being able to recognize it and say, oh, that's what he's doing. He's playing this chord, this voicing of the chord. This note is on top, this note's in the bottom, these notes are in the middle, and they're arranged a certain way. I sat with one of my friends and I showed him that there's like so many different ways to play a major seventh chord that it would blow your mind. How many different voicings you can do with a major seventh chord. I think I came up with probably like 6 or more, right? Because once you start adding extensions and things like that, you develop the sound, you expand it. But that comes from understanding, but it also comes from practice. So I'm gonna get off this one, right? Practice. Don't think you're just gonna hear people do things and just try to figure it out all the time, which is a good thing, right? But learn to read, learn to play different types of music, but practice your technical skills, practice your scales, practice your arpeggios, practice 2-5-1s, right? Practice your reading. Yeah, practice your reading. It makes you a better musician, right? You wouldn't go to a doctor. I'm not saying people are not musicians when they don't know how to read, because for a long time I didn't know how to read and I was playing pretty well. But if you want to go to the next level and be able to play anything, it makes sense to study the science of music, right? It would make sense if you really want to. I got so much better in so little time when I learned how to read and started practicing basic fundamentals that it was ridiculous, and I had to kick myself. Like, what took me so long? I was afraid of the discipline. I thought it would hold me down. I thought if I learned how to read, I would only need sheet music to be able to. I couldn't be creative anymore. It's a lie. It's a lie. It makes you better. It makes you compose better music because you know what goes with what and how you can manipulate it, what rules to apply and when to break the rules. Practice. Fundamentals. I'm going to stop there with that. I got some notes. Focus on one skill at a time, right? Obviously, if you're learning a set of songs that you're going to perform, you got to learn a set of songs. That's not what I'm saying. When you're practicing your fundamentals, whether you're doing Hanon or Zerny or Czerny, whichever way you want to pronounce it, one thing at a time. You'll be surprised at the many different skills that you learn that you need to apply to just playing scales. You got to apply the proper fingering. You got to apply, you got to make it smooth, right? You got to know how to play it staccato. You got to learn how to play it legato. There's so many different skills that you can learn in just one exercise, that after you mastered it in one, the next thing gets easier. And it gets easier and easier as you go along. Trust me. Practice. Focus on one thing at a time. Don't try. Don't get caught up in the dopamine hit. Don't get caught up in people showing off the skills they have on social media. These guys, some of them are great and they've practiced for a long time to be able to do that off the rip. But there's a lot of people out here that are doing things that sound amazing that had to record it 50 times before they got the one that they posted. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Your biggest competition is you. It's not me. It's not the latest hot musician that everybody want to play like. It's not that. It's you. It's you. If you focus on getting better at one skill at a time every day, in 6 months to a year, you'll be playing things, you'll be hearing and knowing what people are doing, and without having to keep rewinding or slowing down the video and all these different things. You'll just know this guy's playing a altered chord, altered scale on that solo. They're playing the dominant chord, but they're playing the altered scale. They're not playing the regular scale of that dominant chord. You'll hear it. You'll hear it. Trust me. It's just going to take time. And the more you focus on one thing and you master one thing at a time, the more opportunities, the more your eyes will open to the other things that you didn't know. And you're going to be like, oh, all this was in here? Let me go, let me see what I can find if I just focus on this one now, on this next skill. And then you're going to see a whole bunch of things open up for you. Oh, all this was in here? Let me see what's over here. That's how it works. That's how it works, guys. Right? So don't compare yourself to anybody. Comparison is the thief of joy, of skill, of progress, of whatever you want to call it, of your destiny. Comparing yourself with other people will steal your destiny. Say that to yourself. If I compare myself to other people, I am effectively giving away my destiny. I learned to create my own sound when I started focusing on learning the technical things of how music works and mastering one skill at a time. And all these things just started opening up for me. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God. The very thing I was afraid of, discipline practice, that I thought was going to hold me down and keep me from doing all these wonderful things that I'm seeing everybody doing. That very thing was the only way